Hi, y'all. So, at this point in my story, I am finished with my school career. And in my country, we go through K through 12. And I just finished high school. I just graduated high school. And I'm going to be moving on to college. And so, at this time, I would like to pause and reflect before I move on because this has really been transformational for me. And it's really crazy, this road that I've been on with this. I'm talking about my past, but I don't feel really connected to my past. I don't know. I don't really like that girl. I don't like the decisions that she made. I do understand that I can go back and change a lot, but I don't want to. I don't want to change my past. I want to love it as it is. I feel like um, that's what I'm meant to do, is to love my past as it is. And so yeah, I'm looking back on all this, and it's been a crazy, crazy journey because it all started with my healing journey. I was just on an internal healing journey, thinking, I'm going to heal myself once and for all. I'm tired of living in suffering. And I began this healing journey where along the journey I came in contact with my inner child. And this is a whole story in itself, but long story short, my inner child is the one who wanted me to do this. And other than, like I say, all the times that I experienced trauma, I always thought I will one day have my say. And I guess I didn't understand the implications of that. And I didn't understand really what it meant, and what it meant doing. And I think that I was afraid for a long time. I was really, really afraid. And there was this point in my healing journey before I was in contact with my inner child, but before my inner child told me that she wanted me on YouTube, um, I had a whole year of facing fears, and it was like find the low hanging fruit and face all those first until you've picked all the fruit off the tree. And so, yeah, I was facing fears for a full year before my inner child was brave enough to tell me, I want us on YouTube. So yeah, and that whenever my inner child told me I want us on YouTube, I begin to feel the spiritual call, the spiritual pull. I begin to feel like this is important and this is necessary, and now's the time. Now. And I don't always go with the now impulse, because I do believe that our egos are very now, and I'm always like, chill, it don't have to be now, calm down, ego. But sometimes you get these now is the time, and it's like it's a spiritual thing, and you can tell it's spiritual because synchronicities will happen around it, and it's just like everything is falling in place, and it is the time. Now is the time. And I try to go with those the most, because when spirit's telling me now's the time, it's the time. And spirit's saying that because there's wishes and desires in my heart that I would like to see fulfilled in this lifetime. And spirit's like, now's the time. And spirit knows that this is the time that will help me align more fully into my spiritual calling and to allowing myself to receive my heart's desires. I'm still flooded with tons of video ideas, just tons. And in my mind, it's just like, go do the video, edit it, and put it out there. Go do the video, edit it, and put it out there, But it doesn't actually work out like that in reality. And it's the same way that in my mind, I think, do the spiritual exercise, be spiritually grown, and done and done, And that's not how it works either. Spiritual growth is a process, and it's an ever evolving, constant, infinite process that I'm so happy to be on. But yeah, it's a process, and it's not do the exercise, be grown. That's not how it is. So I'm learning that with spirit. And I always talk to spirit. This is one of my things that I'm realizing is I always talk, but I don't always listen. And what? Yeah. He's like, yeah, she always talks, but she doesn't always listen. When my inner child wanted me to be on YouTube, and spirit was like, this is the time, fear came up. A lot of fear came up. And that's why it's important to tell you that I had faced a whole year of fear. And this was like, it felt really big. It felt bigger than any of the low hanging fruit or any of the fruit off of the fear tree that I had faced the year before. But I knew that that's what facing all those fears was about. This is what it's about, is growing the strength within to be able to do it. And I know that, it, to me, it sounds really silly. You're afraid of having yourself on YouTube? Yes. Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh. I am my own harshest critic. I am so awful to myself, and my videos are so cringy, so raw, so new, so just barely breaking the ground over here. And yeah, I can beat myself up pretty hardcore. And then if I get a couple negative comments, who knows what's going to happen. But what's going to happen is I'm going to love myself, and I'm not going to beat myself up anymore. And I'm not. I haven't been beating myself up. And so that's cool. But the thing is, with my story, I thought that, because I was always inspired by the verse in Revelation, they overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of their testimony. And so I have the blood of the Lamb, and I just need the word of my testimony. I need the word of my testimony to go out. And so, but my testimony is not like other people's testimony. And my version of the blood of the Lamb is not like other people's version of the blood of the Lamb. And I don't want to force my version on anyone. I want everyone to have their own personal version, I guess. I don't know. I want everybody to do their own thing. I don't want to force anything. I don't want to be the forcer. I don't like being a forcer. I'm very passive aggressive. But that's another story. Okay. Whenever I thought about they overcome by the word of their testimony, I thought, this is my time. This is it. I have the feeling from spirit. This is it. I have the synchronicities. This is it. It's the time. I am going to put my testimony out there, and I'm going to put my testimony out there unlike I've seen anyone ever do. Maybe other people have, but I've never seen anybody do. I want to tell my life story. I want to tell where it all came from. I want people to be able to connect with why I chose what I chose, why I went down the paths that I went down, and what it meant. And I wanted to be as honest as possible. I wanted my side of the story, my truth, my honesty to get out there. I really wasn't, I guess there's a part of me thinking of revenge for some people, and I haven't talked on them much in my story, only a little bit, but I wasn't thinking about how your story can affect others. Your story can affect loved ones. Your story, it's you wanting your story to be out there is one thing, but other people, they don't get that choice, and they don't really want their story to be out there. And I didn't even think about that. Honestly, I didn't. And I didn't think about how, well, if you're going to put people out there in your story, you should probably get their permission first, or ask them how they feel about it first. At least do that first. For me, it was just like, go, it's time. And maybe there was a little bit of ego in there. Just a little bit of ego pushing me to go for it and just start this thing. And in my mind, I honestly thought this is going to be a couple weeks. I'll do like a video a day, and we'll put this out there. We'll have it all out there really quick and easy, and then I'll start on my Venus series. Honestly, whenever I first started this, I thought that I could do a Moon series and then a Venus series. And the Venus series, I had to do it at the time that it's doing it because I wanted it to parallel with the actual events going on in the sky. I wanted to go through it with Venus, and so that I couldn't put off. And so when I realized I wasn't going to be able to get my Moon series out before my Venus series and my story's still going, I decided to scrap my Moon series, come back to it some other time. And then with my story still going and it's time for the Venus series to start, I decided that I can do both. I can do both. And yeah, and then I was doing them both, and I was like getting close to burnout. My husband's like, whoa, girl, you need to slow down. And I didn't even know what I was doing, and I didn't necessarily think that I needed to slow down, but I started to get the messages from Spirit. Again, I talk to Spirit all the time. I don't listen as well. I notice things, I just don't listen as well. Yeah, Spirit was telling me to slow down too, and I decided, okay, I only need to put out 2 videos a week plus my Venus series. I was doing 3 videos a week plus my video series. First I was doing 5, and then I was doing 3, and then now I'm down to 2 a week and my video series. And just Spirit's just telling me no. And I had a plan to take March completely off, and yeah, life happened. I've been going through a whole nother transformation, what I call the transformation of the spiritual fires, because life begins to feel like you're on fire and in a furnace, and you just do what you gotta do, you know? I don't want to give any spoilers, you know. Yeah, tower moments upon tower moments in my life to where I had to take March off. And then April, I wasn't quite sure if I could get back on board. Here I am, halfway through April, trying to get back on board, trying to figure out what it is that I need to do here. Spirit's telling me to throw all schedules out, learn to go with the flow. That's not easy for me. I realize that one character in my story that I cannot change, and I cannot change the way that I've seen her and experienced her. I mean, I guess I can. I can change my perceptions. But I also don't want to. I like it. It's a part of me that it happened the way that it did, if that makes sense. But yeah, one person that I can't protect is my mom, and I didn't realize how much it would hurt her, me telling my story, and I realized I couldn't change who she was in my story, but I'm so glad that she reacted like she did, because it opened my eyes, and it helped me to realize what was coming for what's coming. And so that made me reach out to some friends who I have friends in all places. I have a lot of friends everywhere, all over the world, and I have some friends that are lawyers, and so I reached out to them to get advice, and I realized that I cannot tell my story in all honesty. That if I do, I'm likely to get sued and go bankrupt. Because I'm not making very much money to begin with, and they can win a lawsuit if I tell my story on YouTube in all honesty. And she gave me case after case of it happening. And that was a shocking. It put me in a tailspin for sure. I had to reevaluate everything. And I had to realize, and she told me, she goes, you say that you want your story out there, for healing purposes. You need to think, is this for healing or revenge? Because if it's for healing, changing names and events and turning it into a fictional story isn't a big deal. But if it's for revenge, then you want them to know the name. And you want them to know that it was real. I don't know if I agree with all that. There's parts of me, I evaluated this statement over and over again. It's not completely right. But it is right. And I decided I am healing a lot in this. And that is more important to me. It's far more important than revenge. Revenge, it really isn't necessary. And I do want to talk about that at the end of my story. And because all my story adds up to, you know what? This is what we can do instead. Because there's others like me out there. At this point, I am going to backpedal a little bit. I'm going to try to explain a little bit of my childhood a little bit more before I fully move on into my adult years. I'm not proud of me. I'm not proud of everything I've done. I'm working on becoming a better person. Every day. 1% every day. I give 1% every day. Every day I write down that 1% that I gave, so that I can look back over the years and know that even if I have nothing to be proud of, even if I did everything wrong, I did try my hardest to grow 1% every day. A big shout out to Pete Sapper on Empath Uprising for teaching me that one. But anyway, guys, thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you guys so much for being here. I hope that you enjoyed the story so far. I hope that you can understand where I'm coming from, where I'm at. And, just truly thank you guys so much for being here. And as always, be blessed with love. That's all she got.